Plaintiffs Mary Ann Stabler and her granddaughter Megan say Megan hasn't always had the best relationship with the defendant, who's her mother. In fact, when Megan was younger, her mother smacked her in the face, and as a result, Child Protective Services was called. They're suing Megan's mother today for child support and stolen money. Defendant Christine Sunowitz says Megan has always acted out when she doesn't get her way. Christine claims when she was investigated by Child Services, the claims were unfounded. And now Megan is living a dangerous lifestyle by getting illegal piercings and tattoos. And she was even arrested for shoplifting.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Tell me what happened.
My mom and I haven't always really had the best relationship, and I feel like she chose her husband over me. I remember this one time when I was younger, I was washing clothes in my basement, and my mom came downstairs because she was wondering what I was doing, and I told her that I was doing my laundry, and she got really upset with me because I was doing my own laundry and I wasn't doing my sister's or anyone else's, and we got into a big argument about it, and she thinks that I called her something that wasn't her name, and she smacked me in the face for it, and I was
Your Honor, that's not entirely true.
Let her finish.
I was upset about it, so I went to the school counselor and I talked to them about it, and I think that they called Child Protection Services, and that's how I think that CPS got involved, was because a counselor called, and my mom thinks that my dad and I had something to do with it.
What was the result of that?
Nothing.
Okay. Any other incidents?
Well, there's this one time when I tried to meet up with my family at the beach. It was last summer, and I called my mom and asked them what time they were going up there, and I told them that I would meet them up there. And she said that I wasn't welcome, and if I came, no one wanted me there. And
Your Honor, this is my in-laws' home that is near the beach. Mm-hmm. And the rule was that Megan was not allowed to go out to their cottage unsupervised with her boyfriend. We knew for a fact that my in-laws were not home, and we didn't want my daughter being 16 or 17 engaging in who knows what.
I thought you were going to be there.
We were on our way out to the beach. But
you told her not to get there before you all.
Yes.
Okay, you didn't tell her not to come at all.
That's
all right. What about the other incident?
Can I give you a little history, please?
Sure.
Okay. When my daughter turned 13, yes, social services was called. Okay. The day that the social services
Why
worker...
had they been called? Let's start there.
My daughter and I got into an argument, and she called me a derogatory name, and I slapped her in the face.
She said you thought she did.
She did. I have never slapped her or done anything with her until this point.
Really?
that's not true.
That's not true.
Tell me. Any other acts of physical abuse?
Well, there was this one time in my bedroom when I was living with them, and we were arguing really bad, and my mom went to go hit me, so I tried to block it, so I guess she thought that I was going to hit her instead of her hitting me, so that's why she hit me that time.
Okay. How is it that you keep getting into arguments with your mother?
Probably because we both have strong personalities and we can't admit when we're wrong.
All right, but children should not argue with their parent. That's disrespectful. And some would think it's reasonable to smack you in your face if you call your mother or your parent a derogatory name. I say some would think it's reasonable. I'm not saying it's me. But what did you want to say about this incident that she just referred to about you all arguing again? And tell me about these arguments you keep getting into with your daughter.
Your Honor, I would like to go in, right. After the social services incident, I requested from her father that she move in with him because I have 2 other children at home, and I did not want them exposed to social services calls unnecessarily. So her father agreed to take her, and things were smooth.
Let me back up.
Megan wanted to live there.
When did you begin having arguments with your daughter?
When she turned about 13, in October of 2005, when we moved into our house.
Okay, what were the arguments generally about?
It was silly little things. Anything can escalate. If I would ground Megan, she would become angry if she has broken things in the house. She broke an antique mirror set. She smashed her hand on a radio in anger.
Because she tried to keep me in my room and keep me from leaving.
I grounded her, Your
It's
Honor.
called grounded.
No,
Go ahead.
The same incident that she smashed her radio, she became furious with me, packed a bag, ran out of the door, down to her friend's house, and spent the night. She was grounded. She just would not, she refused to listen to me.
All right.
because I was grounded for something that I didn't even do.
Okay.
Your Honor, when she did go back
I
to
got
live
the
with her
point.
father,
Go ahead.
when
She
did
went
go,
back to live with her father.
things were fine for about 2 years. I received a phone call in May of '07. Her father and her got into an altercation. She called her father a derogatory name, and he slapped her.
That's not true. I did not call
I
him a
went to
derogatory.
pick her up, and knowing all the trouble that I have had with my daughter, I allowed her to move back into my home. Since that time, Megan has exhibited a chain of risky and illegal behavior.
Oh my
She has been arrested for shoplifting.
I was not arrested, actually.
She's had
I was
her
not
tongue and
arrested.
belly button pierced illegally. She has an illegal tattoo. She's only 17. She's had a 5-day in-school suspension for fighting.
Young lady, first let's start with your dad. What happened over there?
He told me that I was able to do something. And my stepmother found out that he was letting me go out to a party with my friends, which was going to be supervised. And she got mad and made him tell me that I can't go. I told him that he should stand up for himself against her. And that's when he got mad. I never called him that
And
derogatory
that's
name.
and then what happened?
And then he hit me because he thought I called him the derogatory name. When I said that you should...
Let's first of all review what you say the reason they both smacked you. Did something happen to your hearing? Because you all keep hearing things, both of you.
It's very
keep
odd,
hearing
isn't it,
these
Rob?
derogatory names that
Yes.
your daughter is calling you,
Right,
and she's not.
right.
Were you all getting high or something?
No,
every time?
sir.
Then why do young ladies
Absolutely
keep
not.
thinking that? Even separate households, separate occasions.
Yes.
All right. Let me ask you also, were you ever arrested or accused of shoplifting?
Yes, I was.
All right. You were arrested?
No. I was
What
never
happened?
taken down. I was never put in handcuffs.
What did they do?
They made me sit in the back of a police car till my parents came to pick me up.
She did have a court date. Whoever she was dealing with, I don't know if it was dropped.
That's not
she
true.
She was not living with me. She did have to pay a fine.
I did pay a fine. There was never a court date. And I
didn't have to
paid
go to
back
court.
that
Young
fine.
lady.
She didn't have to go to
If you
court.
paid a fine, you were convicted.
Oh, she had to pay Sears back.
I had to pay Sears back.
That
I thought that
means
was counted as
you
a fine.
stole from Sears.
Yeah.
You only pay people back when you steal from them.
Right.
Or you owe them. Let's get to
Right.
the suspension. Were you suspended from school?
Yes, I was.
For 5 days?
Yes, I was.
For what?
Verbally fighting.
Okay. No doubt the person you verbally fought with thought you called them a name.
No, I was told by the school security guard if I had called this girl derogatory names, he would have me go downtown and get arrested.
Young lady, I find your behavior ridiculous. Now, let's move on to the lawsuit.
Your Honor,
That's enough about the behavior. I'm convinced, ma'am, that she's been out of order and out of control. Go ahead, let's talk about the child support and the medical co-payments.
Okay. My son pays Christine for 2 children, according to their divorce and custody, and all that. So when she moved in with me, okay, they agreed between themselves that he would pay her the still amount for 2 children, and she would send me $50 a week for Megan. It was their agreement, and she did send me a money order for $150 in the beginning. And then I received 2 checks for my son for $175 each, somewhere the end of October, beginning November. But in between all this, I didn't receive anything.
Let's hear from you, ma'am.
Your Honor, first of all, I would like to say it does break my heart to see my daughter in tears. I never, ever wanted it to be like this. Okay, I was young when I had her, and I love her to death, contrary to what she believes. I've tried to set her on the right path. When she left, it was a silly argument that escalated over a question. I wanted to know where she had her belly button pierced. She looked at me, she wouldn't answer, and she told me she was leaving and didn't have to tell me where she was going. Her aunt came and picked her up and told me she was taking her to her grandmother's house, and I objected.
Did you all ever try and get counseling for her?
I've requested counseling many times, and I've never gotten it.
Your Honor,
ever.
I was in the midst of setting up counseling.
And what happened?
She moved into her grandmother's house.
All right. Thus far, that's what I hear is perhaps your main failure based on all this, because it certainly sounds like she has some type of rebellious attitude. And
I feel terrible that she's bouncing from
good
place
enough.
to place
Let's
to
get
place.
to the lawsuit she's suing you about. Now, you and her father were divorced, obviously.
Yes.
Who has the divorce decree?
I do.
Let me see it, please, Doyle. And what else? Tell me what you want me to know about the lawsuit. Child support, medical expenses.
In regards to child support, I did not kick her out of my house. In my opinion, her child support is to be used to maintain her residence. I really would have wished that she had come back.
Did you give $150?
Yes, I did.
To whom?
I sent a money order over to Marianne's apartment.
Addressed to whom?
Addressed to Marianne.
Why?
I felt bad. I had received a letter from
whom?
Marianne saying that my daughter needed a dress and for homecoming and her hair and makeup. And Marianne herself said, you know, you should chip in and pay, and I felt bad, so I sent her $150.
You're a liar.
And
That was not for what
when
that
was this?
for.
Give me the dates that she lived with.
She moved in September 11th of 2008.
All right. And how much have you contributed
I
since
haven't.
that time?
I have not.
Why not?
I have asked her father and Megan to please take me to family court so that we can have the child support switched, because he shouldn't.
To the grandmother.
If the court deemed it, if she was going to become an emancipated minor.
All right, what if she doesn't? And
If
you're
she
getting
doesn't,
money
I
for
feel
child
it's-
support. What do you think should happen to that money that you're getting?
That it should go to the care of her
All right,
residence.
and where has it been going?
It has been going to my other daughter and my residence.
Wow.
Yes.
And you think that's all right? To spend her child support on your other daughter and on yourself when someone else is taking care of your daughter?
I have begged my ex-husband and her to please take me to court. I cannot.
You know, I have to take you to court. If you're getting money, then you should be paying for someone to take care of it. I'll take you to court. And by the way, you are in court. She took you to court. Ma'am, what was your allegation regarding co-payments exactly?
I have $90 worth of prescription drugs from Rite Aid. I have a $50 ambulance bill.
Did she ever agree to pay for that?
The divorce agreement that they have, my son pays half and she pays half.
Money owed for paychecks, ma'am.
Chris asked me, when Megan worked at Tops before she moved in with me, she was giving Chris 25% of her pay to, you know, how you put away for the children or whatever, and she said she would give it back. And
Hasn't. Ma'am?
Your Honor, that was for when she graduated high school, and that was supposed to be for money for an apartment so that she could be situated when she graduated high school.
Oh,
it's $300. What's she gonna get?
She never paid me every single week. I mean, she
No,
is a
but I
student.
do know that there is more than $300, but I know for a fact that there is $300.
A couple things. Ma'am, generally, you would not be entitled to anything. You would be regarded as a grandmother contributing to the care of her grandchild. However, I interpret that $150 to be pursuant to her agreement to pay you. I believe she agreed to pay you some child support. I can't imagine her being so insensitive that she would get all that money and never agree to pay you anything. She has agreed to pay you for a service that you're providing to her daughter. So that is a contract that was created. And so I am granting you a judgment based on the contract, oral agreement that I believe existed. So I'm going to grant your judgment in its entirety. Young lady, once again, I think I've chastised you enough, and I just want you to know that right or wrong, you cannot argue. You can explain yourself to your parents, and that's the best you can do. But you can't go back and forth arguing with a parent, raising your voice, cursing and all that, and calling them names. That is totally out of order. All right, good luck to you. Judgment for the plaintiff.
I wish that she would start respecting her parents.
I do respect my parents. I respect my dad very, very much. You don't show me respect, and I don't think that if I don't get respect that I should have to show you it just because you're my mom.